In life, we all encounter individuals who are driven by their own needs and desires. While it's natural to have a sense of self-worth, there are those who take it to extremes, those who view the world through the lens of their own ego with no regard for others. These individuals are often known as narcissists. But what is it that makes their presence so damaging? What psychological games do they play? And how can we protect ourselves from their harmful tactics? Today, let's dive into the mind game of the narcissist and understand how they cause harm in subtle but profound ways. The narcissist's mind game. The narcissist is a master of manipulation, using various tactics to distort reality and control those around them. They are skilled at creating illusions that make you question your own judgment, your own self-worth, and even your perception of reality. At first glance, they may appear charming, confident, and perhaps even inspiring. But beneath that surface lies a person whose need for validation and superiority knows no boundaries. One of the most insidious aspects of a narcissist's behavior is their ability to gaslight. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation where the narcissist twists the truth to make you doubt your own experiences. This is a powerful tool in their arsenal because over time it erodes your confidence and sense of reality. You may start second, guessing yourself, wondering if you're the one at fault, but the damage doesn't stop there. The narcissist's tendency to use others as pawns in their personal game can lead to deep emotional harm. They exploit people's vulnerabilities, often pretending to care while secretly exploiting them for personal gain. The narcissist thrives on creating dependency, making others feel indebted or indebted to them, which allows them to maintain control. What's even more harmful is that the narcissist rarely, if ever, takes responsibility for their actions. They will deflect blame, project their flaws onto others, and make it difficult for you to see the truth of the situation. In this way, they twist your perception of yourself and your relationship with them. At the core of their behavior is insecurity. Narcissists need constant external validation to mask their inner sense of inadequacy. Their mind game revolves around seeking admiration, attention, and dominance at all costs. They use charm and coercion to create situations where they are always the center of attention, and anyone who dares challenge them is made to feel inferior. Lastly, we must recognize that the narcissist's behavior is not just a matter of personal preference or style. It's a pattern of abuse. And the longer we remain entangled in their web of lies, manipulation, and control, the more harm we allow them to inflict. But here's the crucial part: we can break free from this cycle. Understanding how narcissists play their mind games is the first step toward protecting ourselves and reclaiming our power. One of the most deceptive tactics employed by narcissists is gaslighting. It's a term that's been thrown around a lot in recent years, but its psychological impact cannot be overstated. The narcissist uses this mind game to manipulate your reality, to make you question your own experiences and perceptions. Imagine a situation where you're sure you saw something or heard something that made an impression on you, but the narcissist, in their own strategic way, twists that very moment, denying it or dismissing it entirely. They'll tell you that what you remember didn't happen, or that you're being overly sensitive, or even that you're imagining things. They make you doubt your own senses, your judgment, your sense of what is real. At first, this may seem minor. You might think, oh, maybe I misunderstood, or I must have remembered it wrong. But over time, the narcissist continues to chip away at your confidence, slowly planting seeds of doubt. The more they do this, the more you begin to second-guess yourself. You might find yourself apologizing for things you didn't even do, or questioning whether you're overreacting to their actions. That's the point. The narcissist wants to make you feel uncertain, powerless, and incapable of trusting your own mind. They are systematically setting you up to question everything you thought you knew about yourself, and this isn't a one-off occurrence, it's a repeated pattern. And as this happens over time, you start to lose touch with your own sense of self. Think about it. How much energy do you expend on a daily basis trying to validate your own experiences, trying to prove to someone else that you're not imagining things? That level of self-doubt, that internal conflict doesn't just go away. It festers, It wears you down, and as you start doubting yourself, the narcissist's grip tightens. They know that once they've eroded your confidence, they can control the narrative. You'll stop trusting your instincts, stop questioning their behavior, and most importantly, you'll stop seeing them for who they truly are. This manipulation isn't just about the small moments. It's about something far deeper. It's about the narcissist's ability to alter the very foundation of your reality. This is the power they wield. They don't need to be loud or overt. In fact, their manipulation is often subtle, slipping into conversations and interactions when you least expect it. They might make casual comments like, "That didn't happen the way you think it did," or "You're being too dramatic, that's not how it went." Over time, these comments accumulate and begin to chip away at your confidence. The more you doubt yourself, the more the narcissist can control you. It's like a slow, invisible erosion, one that is difficult to notice until it's too late. And here's where it becomes dangerous. Gaslighting is not just about being made to feel crazy. It's about making you feel disconnected from your own reality. The narcissist wants to make you believe that your version of events is wrong, that your feelings are invalid, and that their version of the story is the only one that matters. In essence, they strip away your sense of agency. When you can no longer trust your own perceptions, you become more dependent on the narcissist for validation, for direction, and for clarity. They become the voice of reason, the authority in your life, even though they are the very ones causing the confusion. This kind of psychological manipulation isn't just hurtful in the moment, it has long-lasting consequences. It undermines your self-worth, making you question your abilities and judgments. Over time, this can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, and a constant sense of being off balance. And while this may sound dramatic, these effects are very real for those who find themselves caught in the narcissist's web. The power of gaslighting lies in its ability to make you doubt yourself to the point where you can no longer function with certainty. You begin to feel like you're walking on eggshells, constantly trying to please or appease the narcissist, all while wondering if your thoughts, feelings, or actions are even valid. It's important to recognize this tactic for what it is: a deliberate attempt to manipulate your perception of reality and, ultimately, your sense of self. The narcissist doesn't care about the truth. They care about maintaining control, and they will use any means necessary to keep you uncertain and dependent on them. And while it's difficult to see in the moment, recognizing gaslighting for what it is, the slow erosion of your confidence and sense of self, can be the first step in breaking free from its grip. Gaslighting, when left unchecked, creates an environment where the narcissist holds all the power. But the truth is, we can take that power back. It starts with acknowledging the manipulation for what it is and recognizing that our perceptions, our feelings, and our experiences are valid. Only then can we begin to rebuild our sense of self, regain our confidence, and protect ourselves from the harm the narcissist seeks to cause. Another key tactic in the narcissist's mind game is their ability to exploit the vulnerabilities of those around them. They don't just take advantage of weaknesses as a means to an end. They actively seek out and exploit them to maintain control. It's not that they necessarily care about you, but rather that they care about what they can get from you. Narcissists are often masters of illusion, pretending to care deeply, offering compliments, or showing an exaggerated form of affection. But all of this is done with a very clear intention: to make you feel special, important, and needed. The moment you begin to rely on them, to believe that they are someone who has your best interests at heart, that is when the manipulation begins. These individuals have a profound understanding of human nature. They know exactly what buttons to push to get the reaction they want. They can sense your insecurities, your fears, and your desires, and they will use those to their advantage. The narcissist is a skilled listener, not because they care about your problems, but because they want to understand how they can use your weaknesses against you. For instance, if you've shared a deeply personal struggle, a moment of vulnerability, or even an ambition, the narcissist may pretend to empathize or offer support. But this isn't an act of kindness. It's a calculated move to get you to trust them, to make you believe that they are the one person who understands you completely. What they do next is often insidious. They begin to position themselves as the only person who can help you, the one who has the answers, the one who can give you the validation or support you need. The narcissist makes you feel as though your worth is tied to their approval, to their acceptance, to their guidance. In this way, they create a sense of dependency, making you feel that you cannot move forward without them. Whether it's through constant praise or subtle encouragement, the narcissist fosters an environment where you believe that their opinions are more valuable than your own. They become your source of validation, your go-to for any decision, no matter how small. But this dependency isn't born out of genuine affection or carrots a power play. The more you rely on them, the more control they gain over you. They feed off your need for approval, your need for connection, and your need for direction. It's not that they truly want to help you succeed, it's that they want to ensure that you are always looking to them for approval and guidance. In their world, your success is only valuable if it is attributed to them. Your happiness is only worth something if they are the ones who made it possible. And the moment you begin to question their motives, or worse, try to break free from this dependency, the narcissist turns the tables. They'll use guilt, shame, or fear to keep you in line. They might make you feel like you're being ungrateful for everything they've done for you, or they might remind you how much you owe them for the help they've given. If you dare to challenge their control, they'll twist the narrative, making you feel like the one who's in the wrong. This is another part of the narcissist's game, creating a cycle where you feel indebted to them and are never quite able to escape. What makes this tactic so dangerous is that it's often hard to recognize until it's too late. At first, the narcissist may appear as a supportive, caring individual. They might seem to have your best interests in mind, encouraging you to pursue your goals, helping you solve problems, or offering you praise when you succeed. But the support they offer comes with strings attached. Their assistance is never unconditional. They are always expecting something in return, whether it's your loyalty, your admiration, or your emotional dependence. And even more disturbing is how the narcissist can make you feel that their support is the only thing keeping you afloat. They make you believe that without them you would be lost, unworthy, or incapable of making decisions. They make you feel like you owe them your every move, your every success, and your every failure. Over time, this emotional manipulation wears you down, and you begin to internalize the belief that you cannot function without their presence in your life. They have convinced you that you are not enough on your own, that you need them to feel validated, successful, or whole. This dependency, however, is nothing more than a form of control. The narcissist is not interested in building a mutually supportive relationship. They are interested in maintaining power over you. They use your vulnerabilities against you because for them, relationships are not about genuine connection, they are about domination. They prey on your weaknesses to keep you in their grasp, feeding off your need for approval and attention. And what's most damaging is that the narcissist often knows how to make you feel like you're the one at fault. If you start to pull away, if you begin to recognize that you're being used, the narcissist will turn the situation around, making you feel guilty for distancing yourself. They'll accuse you of being ungrateful or selfish, twisting the narrative so that you are the one who feels responsible for the imbalance in the relationship. This constant cycle of manipulation, where you feel controlled yet guilt-ridden, is what makes it so difficult to break free from their hold. It's vital to understand this dynamic, to see how the narcissist uses your vulnerabilities as a means of control. Recognizing this is the first step in protecting yourself from their manipulation, and it's crucial to remember, you are worthy and capable on your own. The narcissist's tactics may be powerful, but they are ultimately rooted in insecurity and self-interest. The moment you start to reclaim your own strength and sense of self, you begin to break free from their control. One of the most troubling and frustrating aspects of dealing with a narcissist is their inability or unwillingness to take responsibility for their actions. The narcissist's sense of superiority and entitlement means they view themselves as above reproach, always in the right, and never at fault. No matter the situation, no matter the damage they may have caused, they will always find a way to deflect blame and avoid accountability. Instead of owning their mistakes, they will turn the tables, making you the one who feels like you're at fault. This deflection is a key part of their manipulation, and it's designed to protect their fragile ego and maintain control over the narrative. When you confront a narcissist about their behavior, instead of admitting to any wrongdoing, they will immediately shift the blame onto you or someone else. It could be something as simple as a minor misunderstanding, but to the narcissist, it's never their fault. They will twist the facts, distort reality, and make you feel like you are the one who is overreacting or misinterpreting the situation. They may even accuse you of being the one who is hurting them or being unfair. In their eyes, they are always the victim, never the perpetrator. They might say things like, "You always blow things out of proportion," or "You're the one causing the problem here, not me." In this way, they completely evade responsibility and turn the situation into one where you are left questioning yourself. This pattern of deflection is deeply harmful because it undermines your ability to trust your own judgment. When the narcissist refuses to acknowledge their mistakes, it creates an environment where you start to doubt your perception of events. You may begin to wonder if you are indeed too sensitive or overreacting, and you might find yourself apologizing for things you didn't even do. The more this happens, the more you start to lose confidence in your own ability to assess situations clearly. And that's exactly what the narcissist wants. They want you to question your own reality, to make you believe that their version of events is the only valid one. But this manipulation doesn't just stop at deflecting blame. Narcissists are also skilled at projecting their own flaws onto others. If they've done something wrong, they won't just deny it. They'll accuse you of doing the very same thing. For example, if they've been lying or manipulating a situation, they might accuse you of dishonesty or deceit. If they've been rude or dismissive, they might turn around and accuse you of being disrespectful. This projection of their own faults onto you serves two purposes. It deflects attention from their actions, and it makes you feel like you're the one who needs to apologize. It's a mind game designed to keep you on the defensive, constantly trying to prove that you're not the one at fault. The more you find yourself caught in this cycle of blame, shifting, and projection, the more powerless you begin to feel. You start to wonder whether you are the problem, whether your feelings are valid, and whether the narcissist's criticisms are justified. This constant undermining of your self-esteem is a powerful tool in their arsenal, as it creates an atmosphere where the narcissist remains untouchable, never having to face the consequences of their actions. They maintain their sense of superiority by keeping you in a position of guilt and self-doubt, making it almost impossible to hold them accountable for their behavior. What's especially damaging is that this deflection often extends to the way they treat others in their lives. The narcissist will rarely acknowledge the hurt they cause, whether it's in personal relationships, at work, or within social circles. They will make excuses for their actions or blame external factors, but they will never accept responsibility for the harm they inflict on others. This lack of accountability means that the people around them are left feeling confused, frustrated, and betrayed. It's exhausting to deal with someone who never owns up to their mistakes, who constantly shifts the blame to others, and who never takes the time to reflect on the impact of their actions. And here's the real kicker. The narcissist's refusal to take responsibility is not just a failure on their part, it's a strategy. It's a way for them to maintain control. By never admitting fault, they keep the focus off their own shortcomings and keep you trapped in a cycle of guilt, self-doubt, and confusion. The narcissist wants to be seen as perfect, infallible, and superior. Admitting to mistakes or flaws would shatter that image, so they will go to great lengths to avoid it. Over time, you may begin to internalize this pattern of deflection and projection, and it can have a devastating effect on your emotional well-being. You may feel like you're walking on eggshells, always trying to avoid conflict and second, guessing yourself to make sure you're not the one in the wrong. This constant need to appease the narcissist, to avoid confrontation, and to seek their approval can be mentally and emotionally exhausting. It creates an unhealthy dynamic where the narcissist remains unchallenged, and you remain stuck in a state of perpetual self-doubt and frustration. Breaking free from this pattern requires a deep understanding of how the narcissist operates and a commitment to reclaiming your sense of reality. It's crucial to recognize that their refusal to take responsibility is not a reflection of your behavior, but a manipulation tactic. You must learn to trust your instincts and stop internalizing their blame. The narcissist's inability to own their mistakes does not make you at fault, and once you begin to realize that, you'll find the strength to break free from the endless cycle of manipulation. At the core of the narcissist's behavior is a deep-seated insecurity. It's easy to assume that someone with such an inflated sense of self-worth is confident, but the truth is far more complicated. The narcissist's constant need for admiration, validation, and superiority is actually a cover for their inner fragility. Their grandiose sense of self is not born out of genuine confidence. It's a mask they wear to hide the profound insecurities they feel within. This is the paradox of the narcissist. They act as though they are untouchable, but in reality, they are desperate to protect themselves from any form of criticism or perceived failure. The narcissist's need for validation is insatiable. They require constant praise, admiration, and acknowledgement from others to feel worthwhile. Without it, they feel exposed, vulnerable, and unworthy. This is why they surround themselves with people who constantly build them up, who feed their ego, and who never challenge their worldview. They need to be the center of attention at all times, because when they are not, they feel invisible and insignificant. But no amount of admiration can fill the void they feel inside. The narcissist is forever seeking external validation to prop up their fragile sense of self, and no matter how much attention they receive, it is never enough. This insecurity manifests in subtle ways. The narcissist often cannot tolerate criticism, even if it's constructive or well-meaning. A slight critique can feel like a personal attack, and they will react with anger, defensiveness, or even aggression. They are unable to take feedback without feeling threatened, because to them, any acknowledgement of imperfection is a direct challenge to their inflated sense of self. This is why they are so skilled at deflecting blame and avoiding accountability. They cannot bear the thought of being seen as flawed or vulnerable. For the narcissist, the very idea of being imperfect is unbearable, because it exposes the truth about their inner insecurity. This constant need for validation also leads them to manipulate others into providing it. As I mentioned earlier, they are experts at reading people and understanding their weaknesses. They know exactly how to position themselves in a way that makes others feel needed and important. They might flatter you, tell you that you're the only one who understands them, or make you feel as though they are somehow dependent on your approval. The narcissist thrives on creating dependency in others because it ensures that they are always in control. By making you feel that your worth is tied to their perception of you, they keep you in a constant state of seeking their validation, and in doing so, they maintain the upper hand in the relationship. This insecurity also fuels their need for dominance. The narcissist cannot stand to be seen as less than others. They are not comfortable with equality. They need to feel superior. This is why they often belittle others, put people down, or engage in power plays to ensure that they are always on top. They will go to great lengths to assert their dominance, whether through manipulation, gaslighting, or creating divisions between people. If they feel threatened by someone else's success, they will do everything in their power to undermine that person, to make them feel inferior. This is not just about being competitive, it's about reinforcing their own fragile sense of self-worth. By tearing others down, they can build themselves up. What's particularly damaging about this dynamic is that the narcissist's insecurity is often invisible to the outside world. They project an image of confidence and power, and to others, they may seem like the embodiment of success. But this outward appearance is just a facade, a carefully constructed illusion. Beneath the surface, they are terrified of being exposed, terrified of being seen as anything less than perfect. They fear being judged, rejected, or criticized because that would shatter the fragile self-image they have built. This fear of vulnerability is what drives their need for control. They need to ensure that no one can see the cracks in their facade, and they will go to great lengths to maintain that illusion. The narcissist's insecurity is also why they often struggle with genuine, deep relationships. They are incapable of truly connecting with others on a meaningful level because their relationships are always transactional. People are not valued for who they are, but for what they can provide in terms of validation, admiration, or status. The narcissist is constantly measuring others against their own need for superiority, which prevents them from forming authentic emotional connections. They may appear charming, charismatic, and even loving at first, but these relationships are ultimately shallow and self-serving. The narcissist's insecurity creates a void that can never truly be filled, no matter how many people surround them or how much admiration they receive. This behavior, though harmful to others, is rooted in fear of rejection, fear of failure, and above all, fear of being exposed as not being good enough. The narcissist has constructed an elaborate defense mechanism to shield themselves from these fears, but that shield is fragile. The more they rely on external validation, the more vulnerable they become to feeling insignificant. And the more they feel this, the more they will try to control, manipulate, and dominate those around them to protect their fragile sense of self. Understanding this insecurity is crucial in recognizing the depth of the narcissist's behavior. At the surface, it may seem like they are simply arrogant or self-absorbed, but underneath it all is a deep, gnawing fear of being unworthy. And while they may never show it, their insecurity is the driving force behind their manipulation and their need for control. Only when we recognize the fragility behind their facade can we begin to understand how to protect ourselves from their harmful tactics. The narcissist's ability to manipulate emotions is perhaps one of their most dangerous traits. They have a keen understanding of how emotions work, and they use this knowledge to exploit people in ways that are almost invisible to the victim. One of the most insidious aspects of this emotional manipulation is the narcissist's tendency to create an emotional roller coaster in their relationships. They know that by keeping you in a state of emotional confusion, they can maintain control over you. They will make you feel on top of the world one moment and then completely deflate you the next, leaving you uncertain of where you stand. The way this works is deceptively simple. The narcissist plays on your emotions, using them as tools to keep you off balance. They might shower you with affection, praise, or attention one minute, making you feel like the most important person in their life. This is the love-bombing phase, a time when they make you feel special, valued, and irreplaceable. The narcissist will say all the right things, do all the right things, and make you believe that you've found someone who truly understands and cares for you. At this point, it's easy to think that you've found someone who is genuine and trustworthy. But underneath this affection lies a darker agenda. The narcissist is not giving you love, they're giving you validation, temporary, fleeting validation that keeps you hooked. Once they have established this emotional connection, the narcissist begins to shift gears. After they've built you up, they will tear you down, often without any apparent reason. They might suddenly become distant, cold, or even critical. Their words and actions will seem at odds with the affection they previously showed, leaving you confused and hurt. You might start to question what you did wrong, what changed, or how you can fix it. This emotional unpredictability is designed to destabilize you, to make you feel insecure, and to create an environment where you are always seeking their approval, always wondering when the next emotional blow will come. This pattern of pushing you away and pulling you back in is the core of the narcissist's emotional manipulation. The narcissist's ability to manipulate emotions doesn't just stop with their behavior. They are also skilled at manipulating how you feel about yourself. When they praise you, it feels genuine because they target exactly what you want to hear. They know your insecurities, your desires, and your emotional needs, and they use that knowledge to craft compliments or gestures that make you feel seen and validated. But because these gestures are often tied to their own agenda, they quickly lose their authenticity. When they criticize you, they know exactly where to strike, honing in on your vulnerabilities and amplifying your doubts. The result is a constant emotional push-pull, where you are left constantly questioning your worth. This emotional manipulation is not limited to romantic relationships. Narcissists can apply these same tactics in friendships, family dynamics, and even work environments. They have an uncanny ability to create tension, to make you doubt yourself, and to make you feel responsible for their moods and actions. This is especially effective in a professional setting, where the narcissist may manipulate colleagues into competing for their favor, sowing discord and making people feel like they're not good enough. In a family dynamic, the narcissist might use similar tactics to create divisions, making family members feel guilty or unworthy of love unless they meet the narcissist's ever-changing expectations. What makes this emotional manipulation so powerful is that it taps into your deepest emotional needs, your need for love, validation, connection, and acceptance. The narcissist knows exactly how to make you feel like you are the center of their world, and when they withdraw that attention, it feels like a personal rejection. The confusion and emotional pain they cause are meant to make you cling to the hope that the narcissist will return to the loving, caring person they once were. But the truth is, that version of the narcissist was never truly there. It was a facade designed to keep you attached, to keep you invested, and to keep you under their control. The more the narcissist plays this game, the more difficult it becomes to break free. The emotional roller coaster makes you feel like you're constantly in a state of flux, never knowing where you stand. You might feel like you're walking on eggshells, trying to do everything right so you can get back to the good version of the narcissist. But no matter what you do, it's never enough. They will always find a way to make you feel like you are lacking, unworthy, or responsible for the turmoil in the relationship. This creates a toxic environment where you are constantly seeking validation, always hoping for the affection and praise they once showed you, but never truly receiving it. Breaking free from this emotional manipulation requires recognizing the patterns for what they are: deliberate tactics designed to control and undermine your sense of self. Understanding that the narcissist is not genuinely interested in your well-being, but rather in maintaining their hold over you, is a crucial first step. Once you recognize that their emotional swings are not about you, but about their need for control, you can start to distance yourself from the manipulation. It's important to remember that their affection was never truly love. It was a tool to keep you engaged in their game. And once you can see through this facade, you begin to regain control over your own emotions, your own worth, and your own sense of self. The narcissist's emotional manipulation is designed to keep you trapped in a cycle of confusion and self-doubt. But once you step back and see the patterns for what they are, you can begin to free yourself from their control. The narcissists need to control every situation, every person, and every interaction is one of the most alarming aspects of their behavior. It's not just about power or superiority. It's about creating a world that is entirely shaped by their will and their needs. The narcissist thrives on control because it's the one thing that protects them from feeling vulnerable, from facing the reality that beneath their inflated ego lies insecurity and fear. By controlling everything around them, they maintain the illusion of invulnerability. They dictate the terms of the relationship, the dynamics, and even the emotions of those they interact with. For them, control isn't just a tool, it's a necessity. One of the most common ways the narcissist exerts control is through manipulation. They have a remarkable ability to read people, to identify your weaknesses, your fears, and your desires. Once they have this knowledge, they use it to their advantage. They know how to get inside your head, how to make you feel like you need them, like your success or happiness is tied to their approval. They will subtly or not so subtly position themselves as the only one who can provide what you need. They will make you feel like you can't make decisions without their input, like you're incapable of navigating life without their guidance. This manipulation isn't always blatant. It can be more subtle, small comments, suggestions, or actions that chip away at your autonomy over time. Narcissists are also experts at creating dependency in others. They thrive on making people feel like they are incomplete without them. They will use a variety of tactics: flattery, praise, promises of love, or even playing the victim, to make you feel responsible for them, to make you feel like you owe them something. The idea is to make you believe that your value is tied to their perception of you, that you are nothing without their validation. Once they have achieved this, they have you right where they want you. You begin to prioritize their needs over your own, your happiness becomes dependent on their moods, and you start to feel like you're living in their shadow, unable to make a move without their approval. This need for control extends to how the narcissist treats others in their circle. They want to be the center of attention, the one who dictates the rules of engagement, and the one who shapes the narrative. If they are in a work environment, they may position themselves as the one whose ideas or opinions matter the most, even if they are completely out of touch with reality. They may belittle colleagues, take credit for their work, or undermine others in subtle ways to make sure that they remain at the top of the hierarchy. This is not just about career advancement, it's about ensuring that everyone around them recognizes their superiority. In relationships, they will demand to be the focal point of attention, constantly drawing the spotlight to themselves. And if someone else dares to shine, they will do everything in their power to dim that light. One of the more insidious tactics narcissists use to maintain control is gaslighting. Gaslighting is the process of making someone doubt their own reality, perception, and sanity. Narcissists are particularly skilled at this because they can manipulate situations to the point where you are left questioning your own memory or judgment. If you bring up something they did or said, they will deny it, twist the facts, or make you feel like you imagined it. Over time, this erodes your confidence in yourself and your ability to trust your own experiences. The narcissist will make you feel like you're the one who's crazy, irrational, or overly sensitive. This leaves you feeling trapped in a relationship where you are constantly second guessing yourself and your decisions, making it even easier for the narcissist to maintain control. In more personal relationships, the narcissist may even go so far as to isolate you from friends, family, or anyone who could challenge their authority. They might make you feel guilty for spending time with others, subtly undermine those relationships, or create drama that forces you to choose between them and the people who care about you. By isolating you, they eliminate outside perspectives and create a situation where you only have their voice to listen to. This gives them even more power over you because, without outside influence, you are left to rely entirely on their version of reality. This desire for control is also why narcissists often sabotage the happiness or success of others, even those close to them. If they see someone else succeeding or being happy, it threatens their sense of dominance. They cannot stand to be outshined, so they will undermine the person, make them feel small, or even belittle their achievements. This might take the form of dismissive comments, undermining support, or in some cases outright sabotage. The narcissist is always trying to ensure that their success, their image, and their narrative remain intact. They cannot stand the idea of anyone else receiving attention, praise, or love unless it is filtered through their approval. The narcissist's control is not only emotionally draining but also mentally exhausting. You constantly feel like you are navigating a maze of manipulation, never sure which direction to go. You're unsure whether you're making decisions for yourself or if you're simply reacting to their influence. Over time, this takes a toll on your mental and emotional well-being, leaving you feeling depleted, disoriented, and unsure of who you are outside of the narcissist's influence. It's easy to lose sight of your own goals, values, and priorities because the narcissist has made you feel like you need them to survive. The constant need to appease them, to avoid their wrath, or to meet their ever-shifting expectations leaves you emotionally hollow and disconnected from your true self. The truth is, the narcissist's need for control is driven by fear. A fear of vulnerability, a fear of rejection, and a fear of being exposed for what they really are. The more they control, the more they believe they can protect themselves from these fears. But the reality is that no amount of control can shield them from the truth. And as long as they continue to manipulate, isolate, and dominate those around them, they will only be digging themselves deeper into their own cycle of insecurity and loneliness. Recognizing this need for control is essential if you want to break free from the narcissist's grip. It's about understanding that their need for dominance is not a reflection of your own worth, but rather a reflection of their inability to manage their own insecurities. By recognizing the signs of manipulation, gaslighting, and emotional dependency, you can begin to reclaim your own autonomy and break free from the toxic influence they've tried to impose on your life.